the exact workflow and systems I have used to scale my clients to 100K a month and even beyond six figures. Now, guys, what you have to understand is that as an entrepreneur, your entire journey will rely on you being more capable and you being more resourceful. And most of you guys don't do that because you watch David Goggins and he's telling you work 15 hours a day. 15 hours a day is going to make you rich. Like all the time, you're just thinking about that. But he is a marathon runner and you're a business owner. You have to create leverage because you're in a competition and you have to win it. If you're not going to win, then what's going to happen? You're going to lose. So stop it, okay? Because this is the most craziest part that I think people don't really get. First of all, you don't have time to think. You're not thinking strategically. You're stuck at the same level, right? And then on top of that, you don't have any freedom. Why did you build your business in the first place? What was the reason behind it? To get more freedom, get more free time. And you're not even able to do this. So, like, what's the point of even starting a business? Because the truth is that you are not a business owner. You are a glorified employee in your own company. Your revenue is directly related to your work hours worked, which is fundamentally unscalable because you're one human. You have 24 hours. I don't know some trick if you can do to get more. If you do, please tell me. You can, right? So the issue is that entrepreneurs work extremely long hours doing everything themselves because they believe if I do more work, if I make more money, if I work 100 hours a week, I'll make 100K, which is just completely stupid. I want to say the R word, but I won't, otherwise YouTube would ban me. But that's the main key, okay? So let me do two distincts, okay? A guy who's making 10K a month and a guy who's making 100K a month. What's the basic difference, right? So the characteristics are that he does everything himself, right? Working 10, 12 hours a day, filling days with busy work instead of high leverage work, which is super, super important. Then on top of that, he feels productive, he feels good, but at the end of the month, he's stuck at the same level. This is the issue with 99% of business owners that come to me for consulting. They literally have the same problem over and over again. They work so much and get so little. Why? Because they confuse activity with productivity. They feel busy, but they're not getting anything accomplished. Their results are not matching. That's you see that guy, right? Let me give you a basic generic example. There's a kid in school who used to study 5 hours and score 99, while there was a nerd who studied like 12 hours and then scored like 98. And you're like, how the hell did this guy win? How the hell did he do it? And that's the main difference. What you have to make is that the 100K a month business owner is working on high leverage tasks that move the needle, working 5 hours a day. I know guys who work 3 hours a day making half a million, 500K a month. How? Because they focus on building systems that runs without them. They manage sales rep instead of being one, right? They place people in position that handle the low leverage task via. Guys, you guys have AI. We have Claude Code right now, and that thing is so good. You can make Excel sheets. You can do a bunch of things from that. You can automate all your tasks. Like, how the hell are you working that long with not having? Now, me on the other hand, right? I work extremely long hours. I work 10, 12. I work while I'm awake because that's what I enjoy. I'm a workaholic. Otherwise, my mind goes here and there. That's what I like. That's what the type of human being I am. But the point I'm trying to make here is that if you are not focusing on reducing your hours while getting higher inputs, you're going to stay stuck because you're going to feel like, oh, I'm working so hard. The universe is so against me, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, you're just being dumb with your time. Okay. So, first of all, you have to understand the three-term investments you have to make, okay? Now, SOP, guys, if you're not making SOPs, what are you doing? But it's all right. You guys are not stupid. You guys are not dumb. The issue is that the culture has made you think all this stuff is good when it's not. It's not really ROI driven, okay? So, when you are doing any task, imagine you hate it. Imagine you don't have you only have one shot of doing this task, and then therefore you have to find a way so that you never do it, someone else has to do it. Always think in that way. Okay, so I did let's say this, right? I booked 5 calls in my B2B program. Let's say I booked 500 calls, right? Which I have done. I'll go in there and I'll not book more calls myself. I'll make an entire framework that can get anybody in and they'll do the work for me. It's pretty simple, right? They're going to be like, oh, I come in, I get hired, I watch this, I work. Simple. Same here. Come in here. What is there? Oh, for ads. Okay. We booked this many calls with ads. I think we did like 53 calls with ads. Okay, book this many calls. What do? No, we don't book another 100. We don't do this crap. We make an SOP. We hire someone that does that for us, and boom, more results. I'm freed from my time. I'm still making money. I'm closing calls. I'm doing good. Okay, so SOPs are king. Whatever you're doing, think like, okay, if I can only do this once and then somebody else has to do it, always think in that way and you're going to be good. Okay, so that's the first part. So building SOPs, pretty simple. Building systems that 10x the output. Now this is super important again. Don't be the Bill Gates type of crap dude that says, hey, I'm just going to be lazy and me being lazy is going to make me rich. Bill Gates, first of all, I mean, he's a billionaire, but he's also an idiot when it comes to giving people advice. So what you have to understand that what he meant by that was that a lazy person finds a lazy solution, but a lazy solution could take years to build. It could take you 2 years to build a solution that will save you 5 years. You have to see your ROI on top of that. To build systems, to build leverage, you have to sit there and be like, okay, what can I do right now that will help me a lot with my work? What can I do right now that will basically free my time? And that's how you think. That's how you actually get better at it. The core idea is, let's look at Amazon, right? Like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is not like he's not a billionaire because he has a website. Any e-com kid could do that. Why is a billionaire? Because Amazon has its own plane, own shipment, own fulfillment, they own so much infrastructure that it would be super hard for anybody to come in and compete with them. They need billions of dollars. That's the first part. Second of all, they have to fight the government for regulation to be Amazon. That's why Amazon is a multi-billion dollar company. That's what you have to understand. And this takes time. It's not going to be easy. If you're here for the short term, then just, like buy a SVJ, flex it, and then just, I don't know, get ruined by Uncle Sam or something. This is not for that, okay? This is for serious business owners. You have to build systems that compound over time while competitors optimize for this month. You are thinking of years. You're years ahead of them. That's why you see some guys, right? That's why you see some guys like they're like, oh, nothing. They just go up. They go up. Why they go up? Because they understand leverage and creating a strong team culture. That is super, super key, because now Amazon, of course, they pay, but they have employees which don't like them. We don't want to be that. We want to be 5 guys running $1 billion company, and they're all happy. Like NVIDIA. NVIDIA employees are not, I think 70% of them are millionaires. It's crazy, and they love their work. They've been working for years because the culture is so strong. Jensen has made the culture so good. Okay, so that's what you have to do. But this is just the surface, guys. So what I can do now, let me give you a live example. That's why I had this here. Now I make my thumbnails, which you guys see through Gemini, through Nano Banana. Okay, and I do this for every single part of image generation. Now, if I want to sit there and not have this many chats, right? To like sit there, remove all this, do this. What can I do to make this process repeatable, more streamlined? Because what will this do is that I can take my time, work for 2 hours, and just make this, right? And it might take me even 2 weeks to do it, right? But overall, the time that I do like 4 or 5 times a week will be reduced to like a day. So you see, like I'm putting 2 weeks of my time to get 10 weeks back. I see the ROI that's there, right? That's the main key. That's what you guys are not understanding, is that if I can sit there for 2 weeks, how much time am I going to save from doing this? Also, because a lot of people talk about leverage and they don't know even what that is. I'm going to talk about that as well. But a lot of times you're going to be like, whoa, I worked this many hours and this is super, super hard to build. But then on the flip side, I saved 2 months of my time. Because as a business owner, time is everything. Time is your main constraint. Nothing else is your constraint. Time is the only problem of a rich man, okay? Now, how do you find leverage? I will probably, so what I've taught right now is to build a JSON profile or just like a custom GPT that I can use, and then just put these in. So like it knows what to do. That's what I'm doing. So if I tell anyone, hey, can you make this for me? They're just going to do it. Why? Because they have the resources that I put my time and energy to do for them, okay? Now, this is going to go into long-term thinking and the 80-20 principle. This is how you're going to have full clarity. I don't want to give you the surface level BS that everybody does. I'm going to give you the actual advice you need in order to win. So the 80-20 principle is pretty simple. 80% of your results will come from the 20% of your effort. Now, this kind of goes against my philosophy of leverage, but this entire 2 weeks, I can probably hire someone, a dev, and then get it done for like $100. Boom. saving 2 months of my time for $100. Will I take that deal? Yes, sir. And that's what the 80-20 principle, that's what I just thought of it right now. Boom, done, right? Like, you have to think in this manner. You have to change the way you view the world, because that's what's going to give you the main ROI on your time, on you doing all these tasks as a business owner. Okay, so core things to work on is content creation. Content is king. You have to do content. Okay, fulfillment excellence. Your fulfillment has to be good. Strategic partnerships. I did a podcast with Andres. I did a bunch of that stuff, right? Product development, which is another super important one. And the paradox is that the key to 100K a month is not doing more, it's doing less and putting talent around you. That's why it's a team culture, right? If you can't go 3 days without your business breaking, you are working on the wrong things. Ask yourself this question: how long can I work before my business breaks? It's probably a day or two. If you start working today, your business will collapse. So we have to change that. How do we do that? We put talent, systems in place, and that's it, right? This is kind of like a paradigm you have, which is like team, culture, product, and then you have this Amazon, right? We're talk about like infrastructure, civilization, and all this stuff, right? And that's the main key. You have to see the bigger lens, okay? Because this is what leverage is, by the way, guys. It's pretty simple. It's input, output, goals, process, boom, feedback. You see what's happening, it's done, okay? So that's the main thing. Now, the breakthrough is that once you find the leverage, you are no longer tied to time. And that's the main thing we're trying to eliminate. We're trying to eliminate all the time that it takes us for, to become successful. Because right now, if we do 10 hours of work, our leverage is 10, right? But if we are smart and if we do 10 hours of work, our leverage is 100x. And that's how you're going to lap people around. The reason why Whoop, the company, is worth billions is because they are hiring people for massive amounts of pay. They're getting the best talent possible. They have Iman doing it. They have so many people that are working under them. They have an entire office. At the end of the day, as a business owner, you have to think like, okay, if I was competing with Whoop or any of these massive industries, what will I do? How can I get more advantage on top of it? Okay. So 1 hour of work can produce 10 hours of output. This is what you have to think. It's a basic philosophy and principle, right? Now, let me tell you this, and this is going to be super, super interesting. You have to be good at content, right? And I'm going to tell you why. Let me ask you a question first. What is common in all these people? TJR, Andrew Tate, and Bress. What is common in all these people? I'll give you a single word: brand. Think of that. Think about that for a second. Is it because they're rich? Is it because they are making content? What are they doing? The truth is that none of these guys run their businesses. None of them. They're not the CEO, the actual CEO. They look like the CEO, but they're not. Luke Tate runs most of Tate's business. That's his cousin. He runs it. Pierre runs everything for Brez. Brez is just making content. This is TJR's brother, who runs his closing sales teams, a bunch of stuff, right? They are the actual CEOs. They run the operations, not the face of the brands. This is the main key thing. That's why we hire. A lot of times you don't understand that the amount of people that are behind a single person. Tate has thousands of employees under him. TJR has thousands of employees under him. Why? Is because they can then sit there, make 40, 50 videos a day, and then just outlap everybody while they're stuck taking their sales calls, doing their setting, and doing all this low leverage, minute tasks which can be replicated. And the truth is that you have to understand task capacity, right? Like, you have to avoid one-to-one tasks like sales call, appointment setting, client fulfillment, right? And at like an operation level, like talking and like giving out little things. I'm not talking about the main stuff, but like the task capacity of that versus one to infinity tasks, right? Building your brand, creating the right content, having high leverage strategy and thinking, product improvement, generating referrals. All these are system high leverage oriented work. This is not your BS. The reason why I get so mad is because I know some of my guys, they don't even have somebody editing their videos. I'm like, bro, hire your brother. Like, do something to get the video edited. It's like you can think of plans, you can create the stuff. This is the thing, right? This is why I think people are so dumb nowadays, because they think like, oh, if I edit my own videos and then I do this, I'll make more money. Let's go, David Goggins. Woo! Like, no, that's not going to make any money. The reason why I get so mad is because a lot of people think this way, and this just ruin businesses. That's the issue. So what you have to understand is that, okay, what can I do that if I do this thing and nobody else can do it, it's going to give me 100x. Just always think that. Imagine you're a gambler and just think this way. This is what I'm trying to drill you guys into. Now, what you have to understand about team is that a lot of times you will have issues where you might think, oh, if I'm not working this much, my team will hate me for it, which is another limiting belief you have, and you need to stop that. Because what you're working on is you are thinking, which is hard to do. You're the idea guy. And if you're not the idea guy in your business, then you are kind of, you're losing because the guy who has the ideas, the ability to think is going to beat you. Okay. So there are two types of workflows. There's the manager workflow and then there's the leader workflow. And time is your currency, right? So the managers, like, they're packed with calendars, they're talking to clients, they're the CEO. They're doing the day-to-day task and they love it. They love this work. You have to hire someone who loves this stuff, who loves talking to people constantly. Now, on the other hand, you have the leader workflow, whereas there's no calendars. Like, they of course take some calls, but not every single day. They do deep work that's not urgent but incredibly important, and that's going to give them leverage over time. The highest ROI for entrepreneurs, right, is could be scripting a YouTube video and task which a single input has the potential for multiple output, and that is what you have to think constantly. What can this do? What can that do? What can this do? Is this good for me? Is this bad for me? Boom, boom, boom. Constantly thinking about that, getting better at it. Okay, so that's the main key. Now, there's a schedule which I'll give to most of you guys, and this is super, super important. You can just literally copy paste this. This works really well. Is that Monday, and this is for people that are doing above 10K. If you're not doing that, then buddy, just be in the trends to do the work. Okay, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday is manager days. Okay, your calendar is stacked. You are sitting there. You are taking client calls. You're taking even some sales calls if you have to, and you're doing that. Now, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is leaders day. It's deep work. Now, Sundays off is a lot of times people talk about, oh, take Sundays off. It's like a new trend. You're still working, but you're not doing the operational tasks. You're just sitting there and think like, okay, this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened. Okay, we're at this for the week. What can we change? What can we do that will make us more money? And that's the key with it. It's not like you sitting there and you're like doing all the work, or you sitting around doing nothing, sleeping for 12 hours a day. It's not that even. It's you just sitting there thinking, okay, what can we do next week that will make us more money? It's pretty simple. It's not completely taking the Sundays off, okay? So a lot of people misconstrue that. What does leverage actually mean again, okay? Getting maximum output for minimum input. That is the main definition of leverage, right? So when I was stuck at 10K a month, I asked myself, what inputs can I work on right now that will 10x my output in 10th of the time? That's why SpaceX beats NASA, right? Even though they have less money in funding. Why? Because Elon just tests like a madman. And he's like faster, quicker, better, right? Building systems. Okay. Why does this matter? Is because most entrepreneurs optimize for months results and not playing the longevity game, which compounds over time. You think in months, you're gonna get months wages. If you think in years, you're gonna get years wages. And if you think in decades, you're gonna have decades wages. Okay, so think in that sense, and that's gonna help you a lot. Now, before I end this video, I want you to think, what did I do? Why did I make this bill? Why did I put this cute little baby who's thinking over here, or have this little text? Why do you think I did this rather than just making like a Canva representation? Why did I do that? Copycats. The reason why Tate is Tate, the reason why TJR is TJR, the reason why Bread Skills is Bread Skills is not because that they have this operation team around them. It's because they're unique people and they have figured and mastered out content. The reason why I make this bro is that if someone copies, if you see someone with this baby, cute, he's so cute, by the way, such a cute baby, this cute baby and this stuff, and me saying this stuff to you on a board, you're gonna be like, hey, that's a copycat. But if I made a simple presentation with text, he could copy, he could do it all, and you guys wouldn't even notice, and I would just, lose clients, I would lose money. That's what you have to figure out. That's why content is king. You have to build moats around it. Literally, take Sundays off. Think about more sort of like, how can I build systems? How can I build SOPs? Stand out in the market, and you will make money. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.